The elements of harmony have been part of MLP right from the beginning, even in the very first minute of the very first episode. They are a source of immense power, so much so that they are the only force in Equestria to give any pause to the spirit of chaos himself. The origins of the elements are still a mystery. Aside from the main six, the only other beings we know of to wield the elements were Princess Celestia and Princess Luna when using them against Discord, and when Princess Celestia was able to wield all six of them herself against Nightmare Moon. I have to wonder if there were any others before the princesses that were able to wield the elements of harmony. I really hope that the writers will delve further into the history of the elements. There are so many possibilities for great stories here. At the present, though, we do have the story about how the main six were able to wield the elements of harmony. During the second episode, Twilight reads that the elements represent honesty, kindness, laughter, generosity, and loyalty, but the sixth element remains a mystery. During their quest to obtain the elements, they go through many dangers in the Everfree Forest. I was a little surprised to see that Nightmare Moon actually attempts to kill them, first by setting off a landslide and then enraging a manticore to attack them. Overall, the trials they go through do show good examples of kindness in the face of danger, laughter in the face of fear, and loyalty in the face of temptation. I wasn't completely sold on the trials of honesty and generosity, though. I guess I can understand that they had limited time to work with in a 22-minute episode, but I wish that they could have written these trials out a little bit better. During the clash with Nightmare Moon, Twilight is able to discover that each of her friends represented the elements of harmony, and then she was able to uncover the spark that ignited the sixth element, magic. With the elements unleashed, Nightmare Moon is defeated, with only Princess Luna remaining. I admit that I am a little curious as to why Princess Celestia was only able to banish Nightmare Moon with the elements, and it took the main six using the elements to actually bring her back to her old self. We do see that Celestia and Luna were able to imprison Discord and Stone using the elements, just as the main six were able to. Perhaps Celestia was unable to use the elements to their full potential when she tried to use them on her own. But aside from my curiosity about how the elements can be wielded, there is something else I noticed about the elements themselves. When Twilight first reads about the elements, they come in the order of honesty, kindness, laughter, generosity, and then loyalty. At first glance, there really isn't anything that stands out, but then I thought back to how Twilight met the rest of the main six. The first pony to introduce herself to Twilight was Applejack. Of course, there is a brief moment where Twilight meets Pinkie earlier on, but Pinkie did not come to introduce herself until after all the others. Applejack was the first pony in Ponyville that Twilight came to know, followed by Rainbow Dash, Rarity, Fluttershy, and then finally Pinkie Pie. If you compare their elements, then Twilight met with honesty first, followed by loyalty, generosity, kindness, and then laughter. You may notice how honesty comes before any of the other elements, both when Twilight was reading about the elements and how she came to meet the elements. Of course, this could just be a coincidence. The writers may not have been thinking about the order in which the elements were introduced. But then again, this is not the only case where this happens. If you think about it, there are other times when honesty comes before all the other elements. In the Return of Harmony, Discord has been released upon Equestria after 1,000 years of imprisonment in stone. His chaos is spreading all over the land, and Princess Celestia summons the main six to Canterlot. She explains that she is no longer able to wield the elements of harmony herself, and instructs Twilight to use the elements against Discord just as the Royal Sisters did in ages past. But Discord has managed to hide the elements away, and cleverly goads the main six into playing his game in order to recover them. Twilight believes that Discord's riddle points towards the hedge maze as their next step, but when they arrive, Discord removes their horns and wings. He explains the rules of his game, and then wishes them luck on their endeavor. The main six look ready to take on any challenge. That is, until Discord manages to separate them in the maze. But even with this setback, most of the main six remain undaunted and continue on their quest. With the ponies separated from each other, Discord could have used his subtle lies on any one of them he wanted. But he goes after Applejack first. He goes after honesty before any of the other elements. Out of all the main six, why would Discord choose to go after Applejack first? Is this just another coincidence that the writers put in? Maybe, but the coincidences don't stop there. After all of the main six have been corrupted by Discord, the Spirit of Chaos declares his triumph and is looking forward to enjoying the fruits of his labor. Twilight seems ready to abandon her friends and Ponyville forever, but is brought back to her old self when she reads her own friendship lessons. Ready to recover her friends and ignite the elements of harmony, Twilight sets off. And once again, Applejack is the first to be sought out. Before any of the other elements, Twilight seeks out honesty. After the elements of harmony are reunited, they set off to put an end to Discord's reign. Discord is still unimpressed with their unity, and once again shows off his power. And if you look closely at this scene, you may notice that Discord focuses his power on Applejack first. The element of honesty again. The fact that this kept coming up was really puzzling to me. Did the writers do this intentionally? You could make the argument that since Applejack was the first friend that Twilight made when she came to Ponyville, that she would seek out that same friend before all the others. But we're not just talking about Twilight here. Discord is making these same choices. Considering the fact that Discord was imprisoned by the elements of harmony for 1,000 years, it makes perfect sense that his first plan would be to nullify that threat. His subtle and cunning methods were almost successful in defeating the only known power that could give him pause. And his plan included taking down the element of honesty first. Could it really be that the writers weren't trying to make these things keep happening? I suppose it's possible. But the more I thought about it, the more these pieces started to fit together. I started thinking about Applejack's character. Out of all the main six, Applejack seems to show the most wisdom. And oftentimes she is also the one who is holding the group together. In The Ticketmaster, Applejack is the first to apologize to Twilight about wanting a ticket. In Dragonshy, Applejack is the one who goes back down the mountain to help Fluttershy catch up with the others. In Look Before You Sleep, Applejack is the first to give in, despite having worked so hard to stand her ground before. In Sisterhood Social, Applejack shows her wisdom and experience when she is helping Rarity to be more empathetic. In A Canterlot Wedding, Applejack is the only one of the main six to apologize to Twilight for doubting in her instincts. In Spike at Your Service, Applejack is more concerned about Spike leaving Twilight than about Spike being less than able to help around the farm. Applejack often shows us that she is a very grounded character, and that her strength helps to keep the main six together. And when I compared Applejack's character with the fact that honesty keeps coming up before any of the other elements, it started to make a lot more sense to me. Particularly when the elements of harmony are called by their other names: integrity, compassion, optimism, charity, and devotion. Before compassion, optimism, charity, and even devotion can be brought to their full strength, integrity must come first. Honesty and integrity before all the other elements. Think about this for just a moment. Can a person truly be considered kind or compassionate if they do not have honesty and integrity? What about spreading joy to the lives of others with laughter and optimism? Could a person really be considered generous or charitable if they are dishonest in their everyday dealings? Would you really think that a person is loyal if they do not have any integrity? You could make the argument that any one of these virtues could exist without honesty or integrity, but do you really think that any of these virtues could become as strong as they can be without having honesty and integrity first? Integrity and honesty are at their finest when they are turned inward. When you can be completely honest with yourself regardless of outside influence, then your behavior aligns perfectly with your core values. You do the right things because you know deep within that they are right. When this self-honesty isn't present, then the other virtues become hollow. Generosity without integrity devolves into self-serving publicity because those who give do so for fame and recognition and not from a desire to lift and serve others. Loyalty without integrity fades to mask wearing, where one's actions and words give the appearance of devotion but their heart lies elsewhere. Dishonest kindness is not kindness at all and is often short-lived. It is only given to gain a benefit or advantage in return. And we've all had experience with false laughter and faked optimism. Some folks can act positive and perhaps do so very convincingly, but eventually the truth comes out. Laughter has a power to lift hearts, ease burdens, and build bridges. However, when done falsely, it can have the opposite effect. If this was a conscious choice by the writers, then I really must applaud their choice to make honesty come first. But even if it really is all just a series of coincidences, I think that it actually makes for a very good life lesson. It teaches us that before we seek to enrich the lives of others with compassion, optimism, charity, or devotion, we must first seek integrity within ourselves. We must first be honest with ourselves and others. Only then can we use all these other virtues to their fullest. I think that both Twilight and Discord realized this during the return of harmony, that the element of honesty is the strongest at holding the group together. This is why Discord sought to corrupt Applejack first, and why Twilight sought to cure Applejack first. And even though the order of the elements seemed to change here and there in the series, I believe that this is the reason why the element of honesty keeps coming up first. What do you think? Is there any truth behind this theory? Could this be yet another reason to respect Applejack's character? I would like to hear your thoughts and feelings on this subject. And perhaps we can find even more reasons to enjoy MLP. I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.